private, training at a radar station on the northern tip of Oahu, spotted a blip on his screen suggesting that a large formation of planes was headed for Hawaii. But when he pointed it out to his instructor and they called their superior, he told them not to worry. The blip, he assumed, was just a group of American bombers, B-17 Flying Fortresses, arriving from California. A Navy commander, peering out his office window, saw a plane going into a dive and assumed it must be a reckless American pilot. "Get that fellow's number," he told his junior officer. "I want to report him." Then the officer saw a dark shape fall out of the plane and whistle downward. And now, just minutes before 8 a.m., the planes erupted into full view, all of them, streaking in and filling the mild sky like a swift-moving thundercloud. Nearly 200 fighters and bombers, flown by Japan's best pilots. On the underside of their wings glowed the round red insignia of the rising sun. Finally, the people looking at them understood. Below the planes lay Pearl Harbor's Battleship Row, a line of American warships tied up on mooring keys in the blue Hawaiian waters, placid and unprotected. No barrage balloons, no torpedo nets. Almost 100 vessels in all, more than half of the entire U.S. Pacific Fleet, dotted the harbor. In nearby airfields, American planes sat arrayed on the ground, wingtip to wingtip, clustered invitingly, fat targets. The screaming tangle of enemy planes. A second wave arrived an hour after the first, dropped bombs as well as torpedoes modified to navigate Pearl Harbor's shallow waters. One of the bombs found the USS Arizona, whose band stood on deck preparing for the morning flag raising. The bomb pierced the battleship's forward deck, setting off a cache of gunpowder and creating a giant fireball. The ship, hit over and over, rose out of the water, cracked, and sank. Other bombs and torpedoes found the California, the Oklahoma, the West Virginia, the Tennessee, the Nevada, the Maryland, and the Pennsylvania, flagship of the Pacific Fleet. Diving, peeling off, coming back and back again, the Japanese planes struck destroyers and cruisers as well as buildings. 3 battleships settled to the harbor bottom, another capsized, and more than 2,000 men were killed, many still asleep. Nearly half of the men who died were on the Arizona, among them 23 pairs of brothers. The planes on the airfields were virtually obliterated. On the mainland, telephone switchboards lit up. Operators plugged calls as fast as they could. It was early afternoon on the East Coast, and news of the Pearl Harbor attack raced through the country, traveling by radio, in special editions of newspapers, by people running along the street crying out. Broadcasts and concerts were interrupted, the Sunday calm shattered. Congress declared war on Japan the next day. Germany, Japan's ally, declared war on the United States 3 days later. Men flooded recruiting stations in the weeks that followed. Every American felt affected by the tragedy and by the abrupt entry of the United States into a global, two-ocean war. War had been coming to America for more than a year. Even so, once it arrived, the fact of total war was astonishing, unthinkable, as were the events that caused it. The first unthinkable thing was that Japan, seeking a decisive blow that would destroy the American fleet and end the Pacific War almost before it started, would attack unprovoked and without warning. But it was equally unthinkable that America's own planners had been caught so unawares. Despite years of tensions with Japan over its aggression in China and around the Pacific, despite the fact that President Franklin D. Roosevelt had frozen Japan's assets, despite awareness in much of the Navy that something was going to happen somewhere in the Pacific, America's leaders had not seen Pearl Harbor coming. The attack set in motion a lasting controversy. How could the United States have been taken by surprise? Congressional hearings would be held, fingers pointed, scapegoats identified. Conspiracy theories would be floated. Careers would be ended and reputations...